Satnam, we are going to explore the many different aspects of breath and how it relates to asanas and, for that matter, Kundalini Yoga, Kriyas in general. As I explained in earlier videos, it's my experience that your breath lives in its unbreathed, unmanifest state in your heart. And we're going to just start with the three-part breath, okay? The inhale down, okay? Pillowing the diaphragm. The secondary, the opening of the chest. And the tertiary, the third part, finishing a really big inhale all the way up into your collarbones. And then it's return home. From here, this relaxes and starts to close. And finally, from the navel, it finishes its exhale back towards the heart. I find it's inspirational to receive the inhale, and I experience it devotional as I return it home. Okay? I often like to say, home is where the heart is. So this is a journey to and from home. Okay. And I like to use my hands often, especially when teaching, to guide this journey. I'm going to show you this from both standing, sitting, and a few other postures. So let's just start sitting, okay? So from here, if you used your hands as guides, you inhale down, okay? And then exhale in and up. Inhale down, exhale up. Now this is important because in order to inhale down and to get your back to open, because that's a lot of useful real estate back there. But you need to make a sacrifice. And this is way down in the lower belly. Not at the pelvic floor, just in the lower belly with some pelvic floor support. If you learn to use that, it's going to create an expansion into this 12th rib. Okay? Inhale down, exhale up. Inhale down, exhale up. Secondary, inhale down. Okay, now we're going to take this pillow diaphragm and use it to expand into the rib cage. This is secondary. So this is a considerably bigger inhale. But it always starts down and out. And then exhale. Start to let this release, and it'll start to come in with some guidance. Right before you want to finish the exhale, relax the abdominal muscles so then you can then finish the exhale, take it home. Inhale down and out. Exhale in and up. Now I'm going to show you from the back. You can actually see this. I'm going to inhale down, out. So I can feel it quite easily into my thumbs. Exhale in. And I can begin to feel this 12th rib come back a bit. Inhale down, continuing out. Exhale in, this starts to come back. And then finally I can take the navel in and up, and it goes home. Now here's an interesting fact about the body. So you've got your beating heart just slightly off to the left. It's in the sac, the pericardial sac, and there's some tendon attachments from the pericardial sac onto the thoracic diaphragm. Interestingly enough, there's some attachments from the thoracic diaphragm down into the pelvis. There's also pelvic muscles that come up into the diaphragm. There's this interesting array of muscles being used in the support of each other, if you know how to use them. Sometimes they fight with each other, and then, well, we have to learn from that as well. Inhale down and out. Now when I'm sitting, I don't usually breathe that deeply unless I'm doing an exercise. But most of the time, if I remember, I'm just inhaling and exhaling. It's essentially a belly breath. And I've practiced it so much that fortunately I tend to default into that breath if I'm doing other things. I don't always think about my breath when I'm not practicing yoga. Fortunately, I do practice yoga. I do practice Kundalini yoga every day, just about. And I do practice meditation just about every day. And I do devotional singing as well. And all of these have some kind of breath. Now, once you get into the specific stylization of breath, whether it be for singing or for chanting, whether it's a melodious, mantra, or whether it's a monotone, there becomes a supportive breath that is pretty important to have some skill with if you wish to maximize your experience. Now, the top of the breath, inhale down, out, up. This is takes the most skill. Inhale down, pillow diaphragm, spreads out. All that's left is up. And at that point, this is where you actually try to raise the chest up. But to do that, I don't know if you can see down here, I have to really draw this back. It's the very end of the full inhale. Okay? I'm going to show you standing on this as well. So here we go. Okay, here I'm standing. And I don't know how many of you ever heard these words from a parent, possibly a teacher. Stand up straight. I heard it. Sometimes it was just my attitude, wanted to be like that, or sometimes I just fell into that. But in the world of Kundalini Yoga, posture is important. So before we can, talk about this full body breath, we need to have a reminder. We want to learn the art of holding the heart up, hang the shoulders down, level the head. First thing is the intelligent use of this navel domain. So I'm going to show you from the side. It's an engagement here to draw down the lower back a little bit. We don't want to tuck it under, just a little bit. Okay? And now we've got a supportive position here. Okay? So look. Okay, from here, inhale down, exhale, in and up. By the way, check at your feet. Try to have them hip-width apart and parallel. Inhale down, pillow diaphragm, exhale, in and up. Inhale down, exhale, in and up. The creative use of this navel to inhale down, again, will open up the back body, and that'll allow the inhale to not only be here, but starts to move into your back. Inhale down. Now the secondary inhale continues to move into your ribs. Exhale, moving from the ribs, this close, and then finally relax your navel so you can then re-engage it to finish the exhale. Inhale down, out. That's a two-part inhale. Exhale, and take it home. Three-part, full body breath. Inhale down, out, up. Exhale, the chest starts to fall a bit. The ribs start to relax and move in. And then finally, diaphragm finishes its ascension to complete the exhale. Inhale down, out, up. Now, sometimes in various things we'll look up. Creates a little extra room. Exhale, push up. Exhale, chest drops a little bit. Now the chest comes in. And finally we can finish this home. Inhale down, out, up. And here's a shortcut home. But when you're first learning this, it's nice to practice this. Inhale down, out, up, until you're not really thinking about, oh, I'm here. No, it just becomes one Smooth inhale. Navel, heart. Think of like head, navel breath, heart breath, head breath. It's an interesting way to look at it. Okay? From the side, inhale down, out, up. Full inhale, exhale, chest starts to drop a bit. Now the ribs start to come in, and finally, home. So you don't always have to take your hands through all of this, but if you're learning, you almost can see the shape of your formless breath take a form. Okay? We will use this in many movements. Things such as exhale, inhale. All these breaths are built into that. Okay? Okay. Anyone that's ever been to more than a couple Kundalini yoga classes have found themselves being explained or taught or asked to do breath of fire. You know, it's classically of the Bhastrika family, which is the bellow breaths, but it's a unique version that I've only found in the world of Kundalini yoga. So let's go back to our hopefully getting smarter navel. Okay? Now I like to teach breath of fire using my hands. I like to take this Saturn middle finger here, and I like to put it on my belly button. And then I open the hands up a bit, thumbs up here. And you may find some other fingers helpful. But when I'm teaching, this is helpful because the vast majority of people that I've run across have, as a habit, been breathing paradoxically. And the reason is that breath is a mechanization of our emotions. So a big part of being nervous is you're breathing nervous. It's not all of it, but it's a big part of it. If you're calm, your breath is calm. So when we're getting into this domain, it's much easier to access foundational calmness here. And breath of fire is an exaggeration of that. Done correctly, we learn to inhale and exhale at the same speed. But let's just start as a beginner with your hands here. So, what I like to do is this. In on the exhale. We're not going to get subtle just yet. It's going to go in on the exhale. The exhale is going to be emphasized. Now, this is just for beginners. Now, for many, when they're first beginning, that's still confusing. And so one of the things that I find helpful is to open your mouth, put your tongue out, and just do the panting version. Once you have that here, then keep your hands here. Close your mouth. Now, since we're sitting, again, it's important to try to sit up. If you're sitting in the wrong part of your sits bones, just sitting back like this will make it difficult for you to accurately engage your navel in a way that's supportive of this type of breath. So again, don't be shy. If you need to sit, lift, use it. Come on up. Okay? Now, once you have this, take your hands away. Now you're ready to do without hand support. Now, often you're going to be in a class and the person next to you is, and the person to the other side of you is doing, they may be backwards or very strong. And here you are trying to learn it. So what I like to do when I teach is I get to be the conductor. So what I do is one of two things. One is I say, no matter what level you are, exhale with my snap. So I'll start everybody off slow. It's kind of like a pace car at a car race. Pace car gets everybody moving at the same speed. That's not where the race is going, though. And this isn't even a race, but this is just an example. And then I'm going to start to speed this up. Now at this speed, it's difficult for most people to equalize the inhale. People will feel lightheaded at this speed. That's actually moving at what would be considered the classic Bastrika. Breath of fire, by its nature, will move faster. But if you're learning, it's helpful to slow down. Therapeutically, one of the things I have on my phone, for various reasons, is a metronome. And you can speed it up. Now, classic Kundalini breath of fire is moving generally above 120 beats a minute. So that what that means is 2 a second. You can go faster, but I would encourage you to be comfortable and confident at this. So this is 2 a second right here. And you will be able to hear the inhale and exhale moving at the same velocity. That's one way to recognize calmness, is when the speed of your inhale and exhale are moving same velocity. We'll use this throughout our practice of Kundalini Yoga. Now, not everything we do is meant to have equalized breath speed. Definitely not. But many things do. Breath of fire in its ideal will become equalized. Okay? Now, not everyone is meant to go even faster than that. Truthfully, for myself, I never go at 3 a second. I just find that too fast. That would be something like, for me, I just don't find that helpful. But maybe in the 140 beats a minute. So 3 a second is 180 beats. You'll see that on your metronome. Now that's just a conducting tool. And I have found that useful both in class and my own practice, especially if I want to do breath of fire as a therapy for, say, 5 minutes or longer. Sometimes having a little with enough practice, you won't need that. You can start to hear the inner clock. When in doubt, go back, slow it down, hands here. If necessary, put your tongue out. Common concern. People ask me, God, am I supposed to feel this dizzy when I do that? And I said, not over time you won't, but if you do, that's very common. Almost everyone, when they first start doing breath of fire, experiences some lightheadedness. Slow down or stop. Go back here, reconnect. You're really going to have to listen if you have other people around you in class going at different speeds. To listen to your own inner clock, it's a great skill in and of itself. So you'll learn to do this, and soon enough you'll be able to tune out what's happening around you. Okay? It requires practice. I'm not suggesting if you're in a room next to a building site where there's loud construction, you would be able to tune that out. But who knows? Who knows? Practice doesn't really make perfect, but practice moves you toward correct. Okay? That's all we care about, just getting better, getting more correct. All right, now there are some other variations on breaths, and we're not going to even begin to cover the scope of all the various breaths, but something that's helpful in the 1 breath per minute. How to do that? Now there's a couple ways it's done. One is inhale very slowly for 30 seconds and exhale 30. That's quite an achievement if you're new at it. In fact, even if you've been at it a while, that's still very skillful. Some people break it down, inhale 20, hold 20, exhale 20. But the challenge is how to regulate the speed, particularly on the exhale, how to put the brakes on. So there's this technique. It's called Ujjayi breath, but I don't know if we have a name for it in Kundalini Yoga, but by aiming the air to the throat, when you're doing very slow breathing, you would do something that sounds like this. I wouldn't find it very easy not to have some braking control on both the inhale and the exhale in order to even out the inhale and the exhale, particularly if you're doing these 1 breaths a minute and you just want to exhale and you got to hold the brake. Don't let it out so fast. It gets better with practice, but be mindful. This type of breath isn't used for everything where there's long, deep breathing. Some things you'll have to explore and see how well it works for you. Now, this is where these 3 parts, domains of the breath, are going to be especially helpful. Because you're going to do a 1 breath, or for that matter, if you're just breaking it down, 1 breath per 30 seconds, 10, 10, 10, which is probably more realistic. It's still going to go, you want this to open as much as you can, because the more space, the more you use your lung capacity, well, the easier it's going to be to succeed at this. Inhale down, out, up. It's going to come down on the exhale, in and up. If you're going to be practicing this, you don't want to be thinking, oh, I'm inhaling here, I'm inhaling here. It's just going to become one smooth inhale. Full breath inhale, full breath exhale. You'll find that your inhale and exhale speed will start to equalize as you get more skilled at these equalized, long, deep breaths. There's been so much said about the 1 breath per minute, the type of mental control. I can verify that if my mind needs to be brought under control, that type of breath will do it quite well and quite quickly. It may require a few exercises before you can sit in a comfortable seat, but once you begin that, you are telling your mind it's no longer the boss. You are engaging a higher power to bring your mind into alignment along with your body. So those are just a few. We're not going to cover at this point all the different kinds of pranayamas and broken breath cycles. We've got so many we can cover. We'll get to those in future videos. But that's the basics of breath of fire and long, deep breath, the 1 breath minute. Those are great building blocks of which we'll move forward, and we'll be utilizing those in our various asanas as we go deeper into this exploration. Sat Nam.